me feeling like I'm academics. Can't.
Oh, I meant to talk about the Spotify list. Let me just talk about this real quick. Is it Blueface? No. Spotify leaders new school. Like, okay. Where could we, okay. So Spotify comes out 2 weeks ago and they said, hey, listen, hip hop is in a lull. They kind of agree with some stuff I've said about it. But they said that one of the reasons hip hop is in a lull is that we don't have the leaders of the new generation of hip hop on the forefront. So who's going to lead this new generation of hip hop? They wanted to do a vote. These are the people. And let me actually read what they said. It said, hip hop thrives on constant reinvention with bold faces, or bold voices actually, and fearless experimentation, continually pushing genre boundaries. Every era brings new leaders, and Spotify is now asking fans worldwide to choose who will guide the next chapter. Hip hop fan base always been the ultimate tastemaker, championing artists like Jay-Z, Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole from status or star status to legends. Earlier this week, Billboard declared hip hop needed new leaders. Billboards declaring hip hop needed new leaders appeared on city streets and across Spotify's social channels, sparking a conversation about who's next. It's a continuation of a discussion we first hinted at in 2021 when our Mount Rushmore moment happened, which asked who should join iconic artists who defined the genre in 2010s. The leader of the New Generation campaign takes that conversation from speculation to actions, inviting listeners to vote for the artists they feel will define hip-hop this decade. To kick off the vote, Spotify's hip-hop editorial and artist partnership team has selected 8 groundbreaking artists poised to lead the next generation and revealed each one on billboards in their own hometown. Okay. So I guess they picked 8 artists. Let's see these artists. Doechii, Baby Keem, Central C, Glorilla, Big X the Plug, Lil Tecca, Rod Wave, Sexy Red. This is how you could vote. Are you stuck in between voting for these people? Yo, Spotify, I don't even mean to shit on y'all campaign, but throw the whole list away, bruv. Yo, let me tell you, it's okay to just say, right now, we're in a leadership space for hip-hop. Right now, we're in a wait-and-see space for hip-hop. It's like the crown and the throne of New York City. They love saying New York City has a king. New York City has no king right now, and it's okay. There's a lot of people who are, eligible candidates for it, but until someone snatches the throne, we're not just giving out the throne to somebody just to give it out. Right now in hip hop, we don't have leaders. With all due respect, I could go through all of them. Doechii ain't a motherfucking leader in no goddamn hip hop. And when I'm saying that respectfully, it's too early on in their career, and I get it. The point is to be early. It's too early in her career, and also she's not diverse enough where remember, here's one of the criteria, and I don't know what their criteria is. The criteria for me, though. If the impact of your music and the impact of you as an artist within hip-hop doesn't bleed outside your niche fan base and doesn't affect the entire hip-hop, to me, you ain't a leader, my nigga. If what you're doing, you don't force everybody to acknowledge, you're not a leader. You just have a wave. So, for example, Doechii, I'm going to be honest with you. I think, say, the people who watch me, they can't name 2 Doechii songs. How the fuck could she be a leader? They know the Anxiety song, and they don't know no other song by this chick. That's a fact. Let's be honest. So, again, I think Doechii has a wave as an artist, but she has to be something more prolific that crosses over to the general audience. She's not there. I get it. She's a younger artist. She's up and coming. She's not there. And this is what I'm saying about Spotify trying to do this now. Maybe I just got budget to waste, but let's not pick leaders, but weak-ass leaders. She's not there yet. She ain't showed the it factor yet. Not in my opinion. Baby Keem. Baby Keem is a dope, talented person. I think he has an upside. When people wanted me to say his last album was a casino flopped, I don't think it flopped. I think he's still going up. But Baby Keem has shown nothing other than, yes, maybe he has the artistic ability to be one of the leaders, but he has shown nothing that would equal leadership qualities. To be a leader, you can't just fucking be. If you're a leader and you could just disappear from the culture and nobody gives a fuck, you're not leading. If you could pull a LeBron James during the finals versus the Dallas Mavericks and it is whoop-de-doo, it's okay, you're not a leader. You're just a nigga with a wave. A leader, and this is where Spotify is fucking up for me. The leaders is going to mold what the culture is going to become. A leader is going to give a path for other people to emulate. I'm going to actually quote one of the a great Jamaican artist. He actually is known as the king of the dancehall, Beanie Man. If it's not copied, it's not that good. And by the way, matter of fact, that's also was repeated by Quincy Jones. If it's not heavily imitated, it's not that good. If we talk about the current leaders right now, Playboi Carti is the current leader. I just sat through them song wars. Everybody trying to sound like Carti. Opium sound is like prolific. That opium like yeet sound is prolific. It's the sound of the youth. It's the sound of the youth. That's a leader. Now here's the thing. Carti doesn't fit the mold of what we have known leaders to be. And I did say my problem with the idea of leaders is that leaders of hip hop came through and are here, but the media and the gatekeepers who were around at the time rejected them, and now they're just having to deal with them in different ways because they're still here. So in 2016, 20 to 2018, you get Carti that came through. He's a leader for now. He is a leader of the new school. Half of the new artists sounds like Carti's children. NBA Youngboy is a leader. We could probably find like about 5 leaders. Now, here's the problem with the leader ideology. The leaders from 2010, when we're thinking about Drake, we're thinking about A$AP Rocky, we're thinking about Kendrick Lamar, we're thinking about Meek Mill. There was always like this lyrical element where like the foundational older hip hop folks could be like, nah, we respect it. Yeah, Drake's singing a little bit, but we respect the rapping part. Well, hip hop has changed a lot. That's what these billboards should be about. The new leaders of hip hop, the majority of them aren't the guys who gonna give you like 120 bars, just a freestyle. Not really. They're gonna be they're making what they do, which hip hop is so big now. They're making what they do, which used to be niche shit, they're making it mainstream shit. Carti's making rage music mainstream shit. Obviously Travis is a little bit older. They're making it mainstream shit. That's why I think it's so hard for people to try to figure out what the new leaders are going to be. Because respectfully, Baby Keem is not a new leader. Like, I don't think his effect on hip hop has been that prolific, has been that universal. And outside of when he's standing next to his cousin, I just don't see the dominance or the potential for dominance that we would want to see from someone that we're like, that's the guy who's going to lead. Does he have potential to be it? Of course. But this is why I'm saying if we're looking for new leaders, we might as well just use this time to acknowledge the Cardis and Youngboys because they weren't, people dismissed them early on and they're leading now. They're leading now. So let's just acknowledge them because the gatekeepers try to keep them out of the shit and they're leading now. But if we're looking at new leaders, which means in the next, 10 years, I don't know if Doechie's going to be a leader. For me, I don't think she's done enough right now for me to say she will be. Baby Keem, I don't know. And I want to also, as I'm going down this list, because after Central C is Glorilla, I want to tell you how fluid these lists are, and this is why we got to be careful. And this is a conversation I would also want to have with whether it's Carl Cherry or whoever from Spotify about these lists, is that I remember thinking about this a couple years ago, and I had a list, and I said, this is the list that's going to be around. These are going to be the new leaders. And with the exception of maybe Central C was on my list then, the other people aren't on the list anymore. I thought Jack Harlow was going to be on the list. What happened to him? Did he fall off, or what happened? His situations have just changed. Remember when we were all on the Jack Harlow bandwagon? He's rapping with Drake. Oh, he's checking every box. Yeah, he's white, but he kind of comes off like a black guy. Yeah, he could make pop songs, right? And he could really rap when he needs to rap. We're like, he checked every box. He's going to be the leader. I don't know what the fuck happened with him. He just fell off. Just went somewhere. He already dropped like an R&B album or some dumb shit. You know? Chance the Rapper. Remember when we said he was going to be the next leader? We don't know what happened there either. So again, I'm trying to see people get to a place. And by the way, I think if you had said Chance most likely was going to be one of the new leaders, I get that because Chance was at the point with, what's the name of that album that he dropped? Man, he had everybody. Like, there's people thinking he was going to go on a Drake-like run. And, like, I'm not going to lie, that's one of the biggest fumbles ever. With all due respect to him. But Doechii Baby Keem? No. Central C, now here's the interesting part. And I love Centr. Y'all know I love Centr. But Centr has done a few things that I think is dope. Big hit song, Doja Got You. He dropped his project. It definitely had the crossover effect. However, we haven't seen his full dominance. Yes, he had the song with Lil Baby. Yes, he had the song with Ice Spice. But we're kind of looking for him to hit that second gear. Like, the first gear is a crossover because he's not an American-based artist. We're looking for that second gear. And I don't want to just say, oh, no, he's the leader or he's going to be like one of the faces of the new school. Because I'm thinking 10 years. Remember, this is not a freshman list. It's not about who's popping right now. It's about if we're supposed to say this is a 10-year runway, who do we think is going to last? To me, nigga, Doechii could end up being Azalea Banks, respectfully. Baby Keem, he cool, but nigga, he could be Ab-Soul. Who knows? Centr, I still think he gotta hit another gear for me to be like, oh, this nigga definitely finna be around 7 years from now. Glorilla. Now, I've been wrong on Glorilla before. But do I think Glorilla is gonna be one of the faces? Now, the problem, and if we go back to the original, if we're talking about faces of hip-hop, and we're talking about the 2010s, I want to remind y'all that Onika Mirage, or whatever her last name is, she was the only woman that was in the top 10 in terms of people are saying these are like the new school. Remember, that's when everybody's list was Drake, Kendrick, Cole, Meek, Big Sean, A$AP Rocky, Wale. Obviously, Nicki was up in there too, and then Future was basically like around 7 or 8. That's what everybody's like thought was on these. And by the way, that list at that time, it kind of proved to be true. Like, yes, you might say whatever about Wale, but Wale just dropped a record. Maybe not the biggest artist, but he's still doing his thing. Big Sean said, like, that was a really good list of who would dominate the next decade, right? Let me go over that list again. It was Drake. Remember, and all these artists had came out within the last 5 years. So it's not like they were out for dumb long. At the beginning of 2010, continuing, all these artists were at least less than 5 years in the game. So we have Nicki Minaj. No, so it went like this. Drake was number one. You know, it's the boy. It's the GOAT. Drake number one. They had Kendrick 2. I don't know if Kendrick was 2 back then, or maybe I'm just putting him up there because he's high up there now. But Drake number 1, Kendrick 2, J. Cole 3. And then after that, you know, some people would put Big Sean 4, right? Because there was a conversation about, like, Sean is just right outside the big 3 or whatever. And then it was like Nicki 5, A$AP Rocky 6, like a Future 7, then we get like a Wale, we get a Wale, or actually no, we get a Meek Mill, then we get a Wale, right? And that was like almost a pretty impeccable 10 if you ask me. These days, if we say, let's get a 10-year runway, brother, I'm going to keep it a bean with you. I don't know when we're going to see Baby Keem again. Like, yo, Baby Keem and like those artists, I think the time, well, I don't think it's necessary, but them guys don't show me like they want it, man. They don't, like, not everybody could be Kendrick, not everybody could be Cardi, not everybody could be The Weeknd. Some of these niggas, they're not good enough to never drop, never do interviews, never do nothing. They're not. I'm sorry, not everybody's good enough to do that. I'm sorry. I don't think Baby Keem is good enough to just drop one project, disappear from Earth, come back in 3 years, and he's the man. No. Right now, I think Baby Keem should be on the circuit, collabing with rappers, mixing with different genres, people from different regions, putting some work in the feature game. See, that's another thing. You know, we had so much requirements of the people in 2010. These people now, they don't work with nobody. Baby Keem should be finding the new hot YN from motherfucking Atlanta that he could collab with. Similarly, like how Drake found Future. Not found Future, but like, you get what I'm saying? He collab with Future. These niggas, they do the least, and people keep asking why they don't get the most in return. Do you get what I'm saying? Doechii, if you ask me, Doechii's a female rapper. Whether you want to say she gonna end up being like a Lauryn Hill or whatever the case is, y'all know Lauryn Hill's impact. Y'all tell me when Doechii has created that type of wave. Keep in mind, yes, a female rapper, so there's some pros and cons. There's some pros and cons. Sometimes it's harder for dudes to kind of get into it, but when you look at the top female rappers now, they have the biggest fan base, and they have movements of women that they're galvanizing. Whether it's the Bardi gang or fucking the Barbs. I don't really know nobody who's really jacking Doechii like that. Like, yeah, she got fans, but I'm looking for the movement from her. Central C, I say you got to hit it in the second gear. Glorilla. So now I'm at Glorilla. Glorilla probably got a better case than everybody on this list. Honestly. Glorilla, I'm not going to lie. After that last album, not only did it prove me wrong, I think she's in a great position. And she should be in consideration. Big X the plug. I enjoy his music, but I do think, you know, I know he's been rapping for a long time, so I'm going to miscorrectly or incorrectly actually call, that stretch where he dropped these albums his like rookie year. I feel like for me to, I feel like I got to see something with this. I got to see him break the sophomore slump cycle. Lil Tecca been out for a while. Now, I think Lil Tecca is a hit maker. But when you say a leader, there's a lot of people who are hit makers. For example, let's think about this. Fetty Wap is a hit maker. Will we just consider him a leader of the fucking new school? No, not necessarily. And I think Tecca is good for what he does, but it pains me to say it. Is he one of the brightest, youngest stars? Oh, absolutely. Is he the leader or one of the leaders of hip hop? I would say no. I don't think people his age group, artists younger than him, look to him in terms of, this is where influence comes in. I don't think they're trying to mimic Tecca. I don't think, I think Tecca is just a good artist. But he's not a leader, if you ask me. And not because of his age, because he's a really young artist still, means he should just be put in the leader category. Rod Wave. I think out of everybody on this list, Glorilla and Rod Wave, they should be the ones considered. I think both have shown, but especially Rod Wave, that what he's building is something fucking just so phenomenal that he's changing the sound landscape of music. The type of music he's bringing into these arenas, the type of music he's showing, he's setting that lane for. We all could be like, oh, that's that Rod Wave type music. I think he's a leader, he's prolific, and that is somebody who I could, yes. Sexy Red. Sexy Red is cool, but it's too early. Let me tell you this. Sexy Red is one of the most successful artists of having an impeccable run. And unlike the City Girls killed their own run off, in my opinions, because before they milked the fuck out of that cow's titty, which is the clout cow's titty, they both got boyfriends, fell in love, and stopped being the image that they were portraying. They became housewives, not city girls. Sexy Red is not that. Sexy Red, she told you, I know something, 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 I'm a hoe. She's living it, and all of her music that's succeeding is working. But I can't tell if she's a leader for the next 10 years until I see the second wave. Because what happens is people get tired of you eventually. So everything is new for the first time. And then after a particular point, sometimes 2 years or 2 to 3, they're like, okay, I've seen it all. You're just doing the same shit over again. And a leader breaks that cycle. That's that sophomore slump I was telling you about. A leader is going to be a leader, because I do think she has influence. I do think she's making good music. But I think we're on her first wave. And it's even though it's been years, it feels still too early for me to stamp that she's going to be around for 10 years when I don't know how they're going to react to certain stuff, if that makes sense. So I want to see, after all this first wave is done and she's coming back for the second wave, are they tired of her or they're ready for the new chick on the block? Because essentially that was the City Girls. Everybody, if I had asked you about the City Girls in 2021, you're going to be like, oh, no, they're going to be around for a long time. It sounded like that until people got tired of them. And they found Meg Thee Stallion, and then they found Saweetie, and now they found Sexy Red and Glorilla. So people do move on. So I really did all that, or really went on this explanation to say, respectfully to Spotify, hip-hop doesn't have leaders right now. We have people who could be possibly leaders, but it's no clear leaders. There were clear leaders by 2012, 2013 last time around. Clear. Fucking clear. By 2013, we knew who was going to be running that decade. by 2013. What I'm saying is right now, we're in 2026, and I can't tell you who's going to be around until 2035. Okay. Alrighty then. Any? Oh. Let me go to Live Bites. By the way,